Alrighty, people. How we darn. Week 3 is just begun. So if you had an incredible start to Thursday night, great. If you had a bad start, do not give up. There is still so much football left to be played. You started Ramondre Stevenson, it's okay. All right, you can still have a player go off. There's a player on their team that could disappoint. We see this every single week. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys being here with me. Be a friend. Smash that like button to show some love. I got a like goal today of 100 likes. With your help, I know that we can get there. So here's how today's going to go. I'm going to answer questions from top to bottom. Super chats will get prioritized. And of course, if you ever ask a question through our website, that will also get prioritized. I'll paste a link in there. It's a really great visual feature. So I am going to start with the website questions for those people who asked a question while we were offline. If I'm online right now, you can still ask one through the website. You can drop a super chat if you want to get prioritized, whatever works for you, okay? But we are going to start with that kid Morris, who did ask a question while we were offline. And this is a trade question. He says, started 2-0, got offered Etienne for DK. Thoughts? Other running backs are CMC, Mason, Demont, Braylon Allen. Wide receivers are Malik, Amon-Ra, Brian Thomas, and Jaden Reed. Yeah, we had a similar question yesterday. If not, it might have been even your question, and you asked a super chat on the stream. But, yeah, we would be super comfortable going with the Etienne side here. If you need help at running back, you've got CMC and Mason. Outside of that, you've got David Montgomery, Braylon Allen. So, CMC and Mason are kind of like one entity. When CMC's back, you can't really start Mason anymore, in my opinion. Even though he's been very good, we have to acknowledge that. But really, David Montgomery is your RB2, and your RB3 is Braylon Allen. I'm not super comfortable with that. So if you can get a name like Travis Etienne, I am totally fine. I think that's actually as even as it gets. So I'm totally happy with the Travis Etienne side of that, especially with Tank Bigsby, who's limited in practice, and Etienne's going to get a lot of work this week. It's a decent matchup, too. All right, next question is from MB Barkley at, I don't know, that might be the email, but he says, trying to decide which quarterback to start for week 3, Richardson, Daniels, or Carr. Okay, so we are only starting quarterback for him. He's decided to start Godwin, Neighbors, McBride, Saquon White, and he's flexing Adams. This is a superstar squad. And at quarterback, you're deciding between Jaden Daniels, Derek Carr, and Anthony Richardson. So, Anthony Richardson, Derek Carr, two less than ideal matchups, right? Anthony Richardson has to face the Chicago Bears. The Bears have been absolutely electric as a defense. And you got Derek Carr, who faces the Eagles. Derek Carr probably has the best matchup, but personally, for me, I'm just not really that interested in starting a name like Derek Carr if you have options like Anthony Richardson and Jaden Daniels. So we are going to go ahead and put Jaden Daniels in there. I could easily see one of these other 3 names outscoring the other, but just with what he can do on the ground, with his role in the goal line, we're going to go his way. You can also make a pretty strong case for Jaden Daniels there as well. But we have seen Anthony Richardson stretch the field vertically. He's not very good intermediately, but we haven't seen that from Daniels just yet. So we are going to rock with A-Rich there. Tough call, man. Very good luck, because that's tough. All right, this is a trade question, again, through our website. If you ever want to ask a question through the website, I'll paste a link in the chat for you. Wide receivers are St. Brown, Ayuk, London. My running backs are Henry, Stevenson, Zamir White. I have a Dunze stashed. Right, so you're getting the Kyren Williams side of this. Look, I don't mind Kyren Williams here. I am someone... Okay, so if you were to tell me, who do you have more confidence that they'll retain their role by week 17, end of the year? I feel more confident DJ Moore will retain his wide receiver role than I do Kyren Williams will be this workhorse running back. He's just been super inefficient, and now he faces a Niners defense, and there's no offensive weapons to take any attention away from him. So, yeah, I am going to lean Kyren Williams here because he is the most startable name right now. And if you need running back, I think that's a fair offer. But I just wanted to be very clear that I would be open to like shopping Kyron Williams after you made this deal, if you made this deal. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Like I said, I appreciate you guys for being here with me. Those are all the questions through the website for now. I'm going to answer questions from top to bottom. Super chats will get prioritized if you want to skip the queue and donate to the channel. The first super chat that I can see is Tatman212 or 1212. And he says, flex, steal, Worthy, Waddle, or Higgins. If he plays, won't be 100%. I have Worthy in there right now. No love out there for Steele start. Look, Steele's a fine name that you can put in there, but we don't know what the running back rotation is going to look like just yet. It's probably Carson Steele, who's the most valuable name, but I don't think it would surprise a lot of people if it was a different name there in a couple weeks from now. So Steele's like the lottery ticket, right? To me, I think Higgins is the play here. I would actually have Higgins ranked way higher than any of these other names. I know he's coming off that hamstring injury, but he plays the Washington Commanders. That is the best matchup you could possibly ask for any position, any player. So, and I say this as someone who likes the Commanders. You know, this is definitely a matchup that you want to consistently target over and over and over. So I am going to go T. Higgins myself. I wonder what the chat thinks, but we're going to go T. Higgins. All right, Mole Rat with the next donation. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for this super chat here. He says, Jalen Naylor or Whittington? Yes, so Jordan Addison, if you didn't know, now you know. Jordan Addison was ruled out, so he won't be playing. And you've got the Vikings facing the Texans. Texans defense is actually pretty solid. So between Naylor or Whittington, I feel like Naylor's role is more solidified. So I might roll that way. However, I can recognize that there's like this special upside there with a name like Whittington, where like we saw it with Puka last year. Can this rookie just out of nowhere surprise everyone, you know? But I am going to go Jalen Naylor. I just feel better about him having that clear wide receiver 2 in a game where I do think that the Vikings are going to be down. So that's my rationale behind that take. All right. Appreciate the super chat, Mole Rat. The next one is from Prez. I'm going to call you Prez. All right. I don't know how to say the name, I'll be honest, but I'll call you Prez. Thanks for the super chat. Super chat, skip the queue, guys. He says, Rachaad White, Chandler, Dowdle, Javonte Williams as my RB3.5 PPR. To me, this is Rachaad White. You know, so week 1 was confusing for the backfield in Denver. The way they used them was confusing. Then in week 2, we saw Javonte Williams get pretty much most of the work. What does that mean for week 3? I don't know. You know, the Bucks are a pretty good rush defense. They are missing Vita Vea, so that's definitely in favor of Javonte. But Rachaad White, it would be my preference here. I just think his role is more secure, and I think he's on the better offense. Like, if you swap Javonte Williams and Rachaad White, Javonte Williams is a great play most weeks, I think. But that's just not how it works, is it? All right, Sun AAA says, who should I flex? Half PPR Pickens or Akers? I think the safer play for me is Cam Akers. Obviously, the big news today is that Joe Mixon is doubtful to play. I'd be shocked if Joe Mixon plays after that report. So I've got Cam Akers as my RB25. I think he's a fantastic one-week play. I would not be trading for him. You know, people are trying to sell him to me. I would not be trading for him. I would not be sending ridiculous amounts of fab in a trade or a player that I like. But he's absolutely like a one-week pick him up and play him type of option. So, yes, this would be Akers. I think he's a safer play. On the better offense, too, by the way. Rivers, thanks for the donation, man. Appreciate you skipping the queue here by supporting the show. He says, Jalen or Worthy? Is that Jalen Waddle? Is that Jalen Warren? Which Jalen is that, son? Oh, wait. You're not, son. Rivers. Excuse me. Which Jalen are we talking here? Okay, Jalen Waddle. I am not that excited to start Waddle this week, guys. His splits without Tua are pretty bad. I probably would just throw Xavier Worthy in there, to be honest. I think both of these guys are going to be boom bust this week, and I just prefer the name that's attached to Patrick Mahomes in that Chiefs offense, and an offense that just lost their main running back, right? So we'll go Xavier Worthy there. I appreciate the donation, man. Very kind. We got another donation here from Manny. Appreciate you, Manny. He says, wide receiver 2, Judy, Ladd, Jennings, or Naylor. That's a good one. Judy, Ladd, Jennings, or Naylor. Well, Ladd is tough because there's a chance that we don't see Justin Herbert in this game. And if there's no Justin Herbert, my interest in these Charger receivers drastically decreases. And Juwan Jennings is actually a decent flex option. There's going to be no Deebo Samuel. There is no Christian McCaffrey. And now, very likely, no George Kittle, who is doubtful. I kind of really love Juwan Jennings this week, low key. Sorry. I think this is going to be Jennings for me, man. I think this is going to be Jennings. Yeah, latest reports from Kittle are that he's doubtful to play, unless I've missed a new report. Let me double check. Doubtful to play. Yeah, that was 3 hours ago. So, yeah, man, I feel like this is Juwan Jennings. That's a tough call, though. That's a very difficult one to make. Juwan Jennings, if you guys are in a tough spot right now with injuries and he's on your waiver wire, he's a fine option to throw in there. Manny says, I have Ayuk as my wide receiver 1. Yeah, I mean, okay, what if Juwan Jennings goes off and Ayuk has a mediocre game, right? I mean, I definitely get like the idea of limiting your upside, but look, I'll tell you my second option would be Jerry Jeudy. All right, he faces the Giants, so totally like make a call there, but it would be the Niner wide receivers for me. All right, we got a super chat here from Omar. Thanks for the donation, man. These super chats are skipping the queue for you guys. And Omar says, Laporta or Jonnu, White, Cook, Taylor, Mason, choose 3. Yeah, wow. Laporta or Jonnu. We're definitely going Laporta. Yeah, we will still put Laporta out there. Look, like anything is possible with the tight end position. We have seen that through 2 weeks, but you have a name like Laporta with that kind of equity you've placed in him and that kind of offense that you're around, then I think you have to put Laporta in there. With White, I need to know, is that Zamir White? Is that Rashad White? I assume Cook is James Cook. I assume Taylor is Jonathan Taylor, and Mason is Jordan Mason. Okay, so we're starting Jordan Mason. I don't know that there's a roster in fantasy this week that should sit Jordan Mason. Just in general, if you guys have Jordan Mason out there, I don't know if any of you should sit him. So definitely Mason. This is going to be Jordan Mason, Jonathan Taylor, and James Cook. All right, that's the big 3 for me from your options. Another super chat here from Omar. This is the last super chat I have right now, and then I'll start to go in order unless the super chats come back. He says, also, this week, Carr or Stroud. I think you got to throw Stroud out there. You know, I know Minnesota's defense has been pretty good through 2 weeks, but he's just the far superior player. And I don't know. I could totally be wrong, but I just feel like this offense in New Orleans with Carr, I think the shoe could drop at any moment. All right. So those are all the super chats for now. I am going to answer questions from top to bottom. It is a Saturday for me, so it might be a shorter stream. I'll just have to vibe it out, see what the family's doing. But we will answer questions from top to bottom. Super chats will skip the queue, though. First one I can see is It's Elite. Says, what's up, guys? One for the flex, PPR, London, Waddle, or Jennings. We're going London here. Shaheed or Waddle, we are going to go Shaheed, as crazy as that sounds. Love the matchup versus the Eagles this week. So, yeah, we'll go that direction. Hey, be a friend. Smash that like button for me. Let's hit 50 likes together. With your help, I know we can do it. Next question is Bengals, Chargers, or Seahawks defense. The issue with playing the Chargers is they're a great defense, but Justin Fields has not made poor decisions. He's not turned the ball over. He's not fumbling. Justin Fields is a tough player to sack. So I think we do lean the Seahawks side of this, as crazy as that sounds. All right, we do have a couple super chats here, so people are skipping the queue. They're donating with these questions. I appreciate you. The first one I can see is from Leo, but I don't see a question. Leo, it does say it's your first super chat, so maybe you're not sure exactly how it works, and you're figuring it out as we go. Just go ahead and comment, and I can answer the question for you. But all right, we've got Daniel here who says Dak or Geno. This is a super chat. Thanks, Daniel. He says Dak or Geno, Daniels or Goff. All right, we are going to go with Dak over Geno. I do think Geno has a great matchup this week. I'm a big fan of playing him. But we saw what Gardner Minshew was able to do last week versus this secondary. So both of these teams are going to be desperate. They're going to have to put up points. They cannot play it safe. And then Daniels or Goff. We will go Daniels by one spot. Just the rushing floor that Jaden Daniels has is hard to deny. And if you think about it, Jaden Daniels through 2 weeks, 28-point game. The other game is 13 points. And both of his performances so far have been better than a Jared Goff. Okay, so Jared Goff hasn't outscored Jaden Daniels in 1 week so far. It's only a 2-week sample size. He could totally do it this week. But just with the rushing floor, it makes it hard to not make this answer Jaden Daniels. Still looking for Leo's question here. I don't see it. We got another super chat here from Mr. Rivers. This is Philip Rivers himself. And he says Baker or Geno. That's the first question we have to answer here. Baker or Geno. So with Baker, the quarterback won on the season. How about that? Versus Denver. I'm not a huge fan of that matchup, but Geno versus Miami. Yeah, Geno is a pretty decent play. I'm not gonna lie. I'd play him over a lot of names. You got two guys in good offenses versus two teams that might not be able to score. I'm gonna go with Baker just because he's done it more this year already. But I mean, both of these guys are one big play away from paying off with Mike Evans, with DK Metcalf, so that's a tough one. And then Mr. River says Higgins, Moss, Thielen, Downs at flex. We're going to go T. Higgins. Yeah, we'll go T. Higgins. I mean, Akers and Jennings are fine starts, but I'd play Higgins over those names. And the thing is, like, Akers is a 1 week rental. Jennings is probably a 1 week rental too. And the guys that you have on your bench are more interesting stashes. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the donation. Yeah, I'm gonna tell a lot of people to play T. Higgins this week. Obviously, assuming he plays, all indications are that he will. I hope you guys know, make your own call. If you feel uneasy about T. Higgins, don't just take my word for it. Take my advice, and then obviously come to a conclusion yourself. But if I had T. Higgins, let me put it this way. I couldn't have dreamt up a better matchup for any wide receiver this entire year than what T. Higgins currently has versus the Washington Commanders this week. I just can't sit him. I can't do it. All right. I appreciate that donation, Mr. Rivers. The Dennis family is here. Appreciate the fam showing up. He says, J-Love if he plays or Derek Carr. Is this Badaki in disguise? Is this Badaki's burner account? Badaki and I face off in the Flock League against each other. And he's got Jordan Love and Derek Carr. This must be Badaki's burner account. No, I'm kidding. I mean, look. I think you can make a pretty strong case that this might be Derek Carr purely based off of matchup. The matchup is really bad for Jordan Love this week. He's going to be coming off that injury. There will be limited mobility. And we don't even know if he's going to play, by the way. I mean, personally, I hope he doesn't play for many reasons. However, L'Jarius Sneed is probably going to lock down like Christian Watson. I think Reed is going to be all over the field, so I don't think Sneed will travel with him. And Reed is probably the best player that Love can throw to anyway. This will be a real tough test for the Titans if Love plays. I'll be honest with you. This is one that I could teeter-totter all the way up until kickoff. Matchup says Derek Carr. It really does. Philadelphia is getting torched through the air right now. And Tennessee has given up the fewest yards through the air through 2 weeks. This is going to blow some people's minds. Tennessee has given up 111 yards per game, not on the ground, through the air. On average, 111 yards through the air. I think I lean Carr. But that's one that could literally teeter-totter all the way up. All right, next super chat is from OSCS. Sorry, he says Richardson, Carr, or Mayfield. Tampa Bay or New Orleans defense. So Richardson, Carr, or Mayfield. We will go Anthony Richardson here still. You know, this is like without any disrespect to any Colts fans. This is kind of Justin Fields 2.0 just for a fantasy perspective. I'm not trying to upset any of you guys, but a name that you can start all the time. He might not play well, but for fantasy, he's probably going to be good. And then the other question, I'm going to go the Bucs versus Denver. I like Bo Nix, but it has not looked pretty so far, to say the least. So, yeah, I mean, these rookie quarterbacks, for the most part, still have a lot of growth left to do. All right, Damien with a donation. I appreciate you, Damien. Thanks for the support, man. He's skipping the queue with that donation. He says, got offered White, Jason, and Mostert for Etienne and McLaurin. Wow. To me, if that's Rashad White, I will take this deal. If that's Zamir White, I don't think I can do it. But if that is Rashad White and you get JSN, I think that's enough for me to move away from Etienne because McLaurin is not even a startable name right now. You know? So, yeah. Hopefully that helps. Bruce. Thanks for the donation, Bruce. He says, full PPR flex. Need one. Reynolds, Jennings, or Wilson. What Wilson could that be? Not Roman, right? Would that be Jeff? My name's Jeff. What Wilson would that be? Come on. Think, Zach. I don't know. Tell me. This is going to be Juwan Jennings for me. This is going to be Juwan Jennings. Look, the reality is, guys, the Niners, they might not need to throw the ball. But if they do, Juwan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk are going to be incredible starts. That's what you have to hope, is that the Rams can at least keep this competitive. But assuming that's like Roman Wilson or something, we're going to go Juwan Jennings. Appreciate the super chat, Bruce. Thanks, man. Hey, guys, do me a favor and smash that like button. Stream is starting to pick up. You guys are awesome. Let's get to 100 likes together. We are about halfway there. Be a friend. Smash that like button. I haven't updated the like goal yet. I'm not lying to you guys when I say I just literally haven't had time. In-season content, you are constantly drowning and trying to swim to keep up. So, we obviously have a goal to hit 30K. So if you haven't subscribed yet, be a friend. Hit that sub button. But, yeah, I mean, these rookie quarterbacks, they might not need to throw the ball. But if they do, Juwan Jennings are going to be incredible starts. That's what you have to hope, is that the Rams can at least keep this competitive. You guys have been great so far. The next super chat is from Bryant. Appreciate you, Bryant. He says, start 2, London, DK, Shaheed. I'm going to go with the first 2, London and DK. Look, Shaheed should be another great start, but I just feel like there is less to rely on there as far as volume. So I could totally see Shaheed outscoring both of these names, but I could totally see him just busting at any point. Oh, Lord, I'm about to bust. That could be Rashid Shaheed. And I'm sorry if I mute my mic every once in a while. I'll be honest with you guys, full transparency, my voice is struggling right now. It's just been nonstop talking during the season. But yeah, we are going to go ahead and rock with the London DK side of this. It's just there's more consistency there, in my opinion. We have Mr. Rivers, who just became a member on YouTube. So he's going to get that special tag by his name in the chat, and then he gifted 5 memberships as well. Very, very kind. So it looks like Brandon, Bike Walker, Steele, Emmanuel, and Rob S. were all gifted memberships. You get a membership. You get a membership. That's right, Styles. It's an Oprah stream. You all get a membership is what... That's Mr. Rivers, right? That's what he's doing. I appreciate you, Mr. Rivers. That's very, very kind. All right, guys. We're going in order from top to bottom. Super chats obviously get prioritized. The next super chat's from Scott. Scott says, PPR League, Flowers or Ridley? We are going to be rocking with Zay Flowers here. I'm a big, big fan of his matchup versus the Cowboys this week. That's a high over-under, too. Mark Cleveland says, would you trade Mason for Devonta Smith? I don't mind that, but, I mean, season long, I would probably rather have another name. Devonta Smith is fine. He's totally a fine option, but he will be the number 2 when AJ's back. So can you go get Mike Evans right now, who came off a bad game, and people are worried about Pat Surtain, which might be another bad game. Like, we have to recognize that. Can you go get an Ayuk before this next game? Like that kind of range I'd rather prefer, but... if you're just stacked at running back and you want to think long-term and you don't think that offer is going to be there later on, then in theory, I'm fine with it, right? Cuba, what's up? Thanks for the donation. He says, would you say Higgins or Shaheed? I would go Higgins. Like I said, guys, I'm going to tell a lot of people to start Higgins this week. And, if I get clowned, then, okay, I'm sorry. But I'm going to start Higgins with that matchup. Edward says, lineup help, 10-man. I need one flex. One flex, need wide receiver 3 and a flex. Okay, so are you saying 3 wide receivers or just 2 players total? I think 2 players total. For me, this is going to be Demarcus Robinson and Brian Thomas. Excuse me. Yeah, Demarcus Robinson and Brian Thomas. That's the way we're going to go there. And then with your defense, you said 49ers or Seattle. 49ers look like a really good matchup this week. We're going to go 49ers. Just almost that entire offense is destroyed in LA. So that's the way we're going to go there. Okay. Appreciate the donation, man. Elijah McSweeney, thanks for the donation. He says, drop Gus for Braylon. Start 7 league. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I personally dropped Gus Edwards this week. I don't even know if J.K. Dobbins would, if he would be out, if Gus Edwards would be a good start. Maybe they'd give him all the volume, but maybe they activate Kamani and it's a 2 backfield again. There's just no juice with Gus Edwards. There's no juice whatsoever. I mean, Gus could come out this week. He could have 15 carries, 35 yards, and a touchdown. And we would all be like, great. I still don't want to start him. So, yeah, I think I would rather just pick Braylon up there. Logan, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the donation. He says, I have to start Rashad over Mixon. Also, would you trade Brian Robinson and Brian Thomas for Pittman? No. No way. No, I mean, I want Brian Robinson over Pittman rest of season, straight up. And I'm not really sure how I would feel about Brian Thomas or Michael Pittman rest of season. Yeah, Michael Pittman is stuck in quarterback purgatory at the moment. That could change. Richardson could get better, but no, absolutely not. Who is trying to sell Pittman for that price? That's just unrealistic. They're trying to take you for a ride, brother. Shane, I appreciate you, man. This is your 10th super chat. Obviously, Shane's a supporter as well of Fantasyland. He says, should I sell high on Garrett in Dynasty? Rodgers was supposed to be the promised land. I'm thinking of pivoting to... Yeah, if you can pivot to those two names, absolutely, Shane. If you can get a Marvin, if you can get a Neighbors, I would definitely do it. I still have a significant amount of belief in Garrett Wilson, but this is not Devontae Adams, right? Like, that's what everyone was envisioning. That's what everyone's... well, they were like, yeah, this is the next Devontae Adams. Well, it's not, unfortunately. It could be. But will Garrett Wilson be ready to do that by the time Aaron Rodgers wants to retire, or vice versa? So, overall, I like that idea a lot. I appreciate the donation, Shane. Very kind. Slick Willie. Y'all, I'm solo dolo. I've got to get a cough drop. I am so sorry. Let me just text my wife real quick. Sorry, guys. We're rocking solo dolo right now, and the amount of talking I've done in this season is just really impacting my throat. Sorry. So, you guys are awesome, though. The super chats are coming in hot, and we're here. We're here. Okay, what was my next question? It was Slick Willie. Thank you, Slick Willie. I appreciate you. And you guys are gonna have to deal with a little mouth action, okay? Hopefully you like some ASMR here, okay? I'm sorry. I'm trying to save my throat. Okay, so Slick Willie says, who would you like between Jamarcus Robinson and Jameson Williams? You must mean Marcus Robinson is what I believe you're saying there. We're going to rock with Jameson Williams. One of my favorite starts this week. Really love that matchup. I believe it's in Arizona, right? And the Lions are favored away from home. Jameson Williams has been so good, guys, but do you realize that he is top 5 in targets right now? There's only 4 players who have been targeted more than Jameson Williams this year. Absolutely mental. The highest over-under of the week. We're going to rock with J-Mo there, baby. I appreciate you, though. The next super chat is from Mr. Rivers. He says, Kittle out, Gesicki, Strange, Ertz, Parkinson. Here's the issue, Mr. Rivers. If you pick up Gesicki, there's also a chance that he doesn't play because he has been limited in back-to-back practices. Whereas with Brenton Strange, it looks very likely that he will play. So I think right now what you do is you pick up Brenton Strange before anyone else can. And then if Gesicki can play, you can look at picking him up. But at least you have an option. And both of these names, aren't both of these names playing on Monday night? So that's kind of perfect. Yeah. Both of these guys are on Monday night, so that's absolutely perfect. I appreciate the donation, man. Just Chrome says, full PPR, I have a spot start steal because of Mixon. Am I cooked? Also, Ferguson or Goddard. Let's start with Carson Steele. The reality with Carson Steele, guys, is we have really very limited ideas of how this backfield is actually going to look. Andy Reid really isn't like the type to be like, hey, this is our game plan. This is how we're going to utilize these players. But I do think Carson Steele is like a fringe top 30 play in the sense of if they're on the goal line and they do give it to a running back, it's probably Carson Steele. I mean, we even saw last week before Pacheco went down with an injury, Carson Steele was given a goal line touch. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they're in the goal line and they do some weird shit where, like, Travis Kelce's a fullback and Xavier Worthy's a running back, and they fucking do an option outside right, and they pitch 3 times, you know? So, anyway, are you cooked? No. It's a fine option. You could be in a much worse spot. You could be starting Alexander Madison, right? But no, I don't think you're cooked. And he says also Ferg or Goddard. We're going to rock with Jake Ferguson there. If he's back and healthy and ready to go, we're definitely going to rock with him. And then he says Seattle or Cincy's defense. So I'm going to go Seattle. They face the Rams. And they face Miami. Here's the main reason why I would lean that direction. Because I want as many sacks as possible. I want as many turnovers as possible. Jaden Daniels is a quarterback who is able to escape the pocket, so it's tough to get him down. He hasn't made a turnover yet. Maybe that happens this week, but we have seen Skylar Thompson play below average football. We've seen Jaden Daniels play competent football at this point. So yeah, that would be my answer there, brother. I appreciate the donation. Wolfgang says, was offered Jordan Mason for Shaheed or Waddle straight up. That's not enough. No, whoever's offering you that is hella underselling you. It's not even close, honestly. The type of deals we have seen for Jordan Mason on this stream in the last week, that is laughable. That's a laughable offer. So for me, I mean, we've seen Brandon Ayuk. What was the question?
Do you want me to cool it down so you can...
Oh, no, it's okay. Thank you. I appreciate you. We've seen people get Brandon Ayuk for Jordan Mason. We've seen people get, Devonta Smith. We just talked about that. I've seen people get names like Travis Etienne. I've seen people get names like the Trey McBrides of the world, the Sam Laportas of the world. No, that is not good enough at all. Not even close. All right, it looks like Mr. Rivers has donated 5 more memberships. So it looks like King Gusto, Zamar Vele, Christian, Justin Brooks, and Ham were all gifted memberships. Very kind of you. This is an Oprah stream, and Mr. Rivers is Oprah. You get a membership. You get a membership. You all get memberships. I appreciate you, man. That's very kind. And by the way, if you are gifted a membership over here on YouTube, the main benefit is just you're supporting us, but you also get a little icon by your name, and it actually transforms over time the longer you're a member. And you get those custom emojis as well in the chat. Okay, the next super chat that I can see here. Where was I? Okay, I think we're on Adam Fox now. I think Adam is the next super chat. Let me know if I'm tripping. No, I think we're on Adam. Adam, I appreciate you. Hey guys, by the way, I am answering questions from top to bottom. Of course, if there are super chats, those will be prioritized. If you're going to spend your hard-earned money to hear my dumbass talk, then I'm going to prioritize you. Adam says, 10-man PPR. I get Etienne and Brian Thomas for Jamison Williams and Zamir White. I do like the idea of getting off of Zamir White. That sounded suspect, but you get what I mean. Yeah. Here's the issue. I don't want to have that much equity in the Jags offense. The Jags offense looks booty cheeks right now, but I mean, I like booty cheeks. Yeah. I think there is more value with the Etienne and Brian Thomas side. I would be looking to flip one of those names. Like, for example, you can probably flip Brian Thomas for Amari Cooper. I think there's a similar range of outcome for those two names, but Brian Thomas has a higher ceiling. You can write it out, but yeah, I wish you could keep Jamison Williams, though, man. That's close. I like the idea of getting off Zamir White. I do. All right, next super chat is from Marvolo the Wise. I appreciate you. It says Mason and Jonathan Taylor for Saquon. That feels like too much, but getting Saquon would be lethal. Okay, if this is a 10-team league or an 8-team league, I'm taking the Saquon Barkley side of this deal. Any other format, I think you have to hold for now. I mean, for example, like I'm starting Jordan Mason over Jonathan Taylor right now, so he's just like such a smash play. So smaller league, I'm fine with it, but anything beyond that, I think I hold for now. I want to make that trade maybe like next week or the week after. Zach of all trades, appreciate you, man. Thanks for the donation. He says pick 2, Brian Thomas, Jawan Jennings, DeMarcus, Akers. Okay. Okay, we're going to rock with Akers here. And probably Brian Thomas. Jawan Jennings and DeMarcus Robinson are very close in my rankings. In my opinion, Brian Thomas is just, he has that kind of upside that those other names don't really have. He is kind of big play dependent, but it doesn't matter if you always make big plays. I don't know. We'll find out. The Ladster is here himself from Canada. This is Danny, obviously from the Flock League. He says, Fantasyland CEO in the house, baby. If you know, you know. It's good to have you here, brother. Good to have you here. And he says, Zach, take Akers from me. I don't want Cam Akers. No, I don't want Cam Akers. Unfortunately, Danny, I made a stupid trade this week, and now I just have all this depth. Even if I traded for Cam Akers, I probably wouldn't start him. It's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate to have depth like this. It's crazy. The flexibility week in and week out, it's stressing me out. I love you, bro. Miles, thanks for the donation here. He says, 12-team PPR, Tyreek Swift for Saquon, Gabe Davis. Damn, Swift is awful. So is Gabe Davis. So, really, the question here is Saquon or Tyreek. And I think right now, because we know Tua won't be back for at least 4 weeks, it might be 5 because they have a bye week. I think you take the Saquon side of this. Although, Swift has a great bounce back opportunity here. Anyway, Daniel, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the donation. He says 0 RB, pick 2, Najee, Moss, Singletary, Bucky, and Chuba. Chuba's sneaky now that the offense could be better. We're definitely going Zach Moss. He's the clear name here to start for me. Yeah, I don't like Singletary versus Cleveland. Bucky could get work late, but you can't rely on that. Chuba's definitely interesting. And Najee, I mean, I just don't know how you're ever excited to start Najee Harris. Do you know what I mean? Like, when has Najee Harris ever been an exciting name to start? The guy's getting like 20 touches a game and can't get over 10 points. We're going to rock with Devin. Hate it. Absolutely hate it, Daniel, but we're going to rock with Devin. Good luck. I mean, really, the hope for Devin is that because the Giants are likely to be down, he is used in the passing game. Outside of Neighbors, who are you really throwing the ball to? You got Wandale, but there probably is going to be some dump-offs there. We got a super chat from Gabriel. I appreciate the donation, man. Hey, guys, if you're just joining and you're not sure what's going on, I'm answering questions for week 3. Super chats do skip the queue. Otherwise, I go in order. You guys have been very kind tonight with these donations. And Gabriel says, would you flex Pollard for sorry. I read it as a trade question. You're saying, would you flex basically Pollard or Tyreek Hill? Pollard has such a good matchup. This is way closer than we think it is. I just can't sit Tyreek Hill. I need to chat. I need to phone a friend. Tell us, chat, Pollard or Tyreek Hill? What do you guys think? Pollard or Tyreek Hill? We've got Zamar playing with the emojis. Okay, so far, the chat, we've got 4 Tyreek Hill, 1 Pollard. Yeah, it's really scary, and I kind of agree exactly what Sarah said. Hate to say it, but Tyreek, like, it's just scary. But I do agree. So we are going to go Tyreek Hill there. That's a tough one. One of my favorite starts of the week is Tony Pollard, by the way, so that's a tough move. It really is. Shane, thanks for the donation, man. He says, half PPR, start Zach Moss or Brian Robinson? It's a great question because Brian Robinson, man. Whatever Brian Robinson has done this offseason, he looks incredible. He has this juice I did not see at Alabama, honestly, like even as a pass catcher. But we're going to go Zach Moss. We're going to go Zach Moss. I mean, the reality is, which of these teams are most likely to be up and able to run the ball out? I feel like that's Cincinnati, especially when you consider that the Bengals are the biggest favorites heading into week number 3. So we will go Cincinnati there with Zach Moss. I appreciate the donation. I appreciate the question. All right, we got another super chat from Tyler. Dynasty Superflex. Okay, Chase May or London DK Sinnott. Okay, let me just transition into Dynasty mode for a second. Chase May. Incredible. Superflex League. That's a buy low on Drake May. London DK. I'll be honest with you. This is like the biggest smash accept for whoever's getting Chase and Drake May. It's, the more I look at it, it's actually not even close. So yeah, if you're getting the Chase and May side, take it and run for your life. I appreciate the donation. You know, you got a guy who's top 5 wide receiver in Dynasty. Some people's wide receiver 1 still. You have a player in Drake May who hasn't played yet, but is just as talented as any other prospect in this class. With rushing upside, yeah, we'll go the May side. Sarah, thanks for the super chat. Says, have Sam Laporta on start. Should I start Bowers? Oh, God. This is why they pay me the big bucks, ladies and gentlemen. Man. Can I tell you why this is hard? I'm going to tell you all the thoughts going through my mind right now. Brock Bowers is one of the best prospects of all time. Brock Bowers is having the best start to any tight end's career ever. Sam Laporta just did it last year. Sam Laporta is in the better matchup. The Lions have the highest over-under of the week. Could the Raiders dominate the Panthers and they don't even need to throw to Brock Bowers? Is this a Zamir White game? So you have asked a question, and if I look at my rankings, you're asking about my tight end 2 and my tight end 3 on the week. Okay. I'll say this, though. Don't be shocked if the Panthers are a spicy play this week. They could be nice. We're going to go Bowers. But honestly, though, Sarah, this is 100% a situation where you try and sell one of these names. You cannot be making this decision every week. Every week, you can't be deciding between Sam Laporta and Brock Bowers. You've got to trade one of these names away, improve your roster drastically somewhere else. That's just pain. Because inevitably, you're going to make the wrong decision every once in a while. That's tough. I hope that's helpful, though. All right, we got a super chat here from Damien. He says, pick a flex, Jennings, Worthy, Johnston, Mooney, Kirk, Pirine. For me, this is going to be Xavier Worthy of all these names. Second would be Juwan Jennings, but we are going to go Xavier Worthy there. You know, you have to understand that, you know, we always ask the question, do you like to party? Xavier Worthy is a party that doesn't always benefit your health. It's a party. Yo, last night was a movie. Was it, though? He touched the ball 2 times. What kind of movie are we talking about, you know? But that's just the kind of upside I'd like to infuse into my lineup. So we will go Worthy. We will go Worthy. That's tough. Dylan, thanks for the super chat, man. I appreciate you skipping the queue here with this donation. He says, trade Terry Amari for Waddle Ladd. So, to me, the most valuable player in this deal right now is Amari Cooper. And I'm not saying that just because I made the trade in the Flock League for him. I truly believe he is the most valuable player in that deal right now. So, yeah, I would take the Amari side of this, but I mean, if we knew that Tua was back in week like 8, would we do this trade? I don't know that we would, but we just don't know. I think Amari is a playable name the next like 4 weeks in a row. If you look at Amari Cooper's schedule, Giants, Raiders, Washington, Philadelphia. It's just great matchup after great matchup. We'll go Amari there. That's close. Nick Jacobson, I appreciate the donation, man. You're skipping the queue here with this one. He says 12-team PPR. Jameson or Pollard in the flex. Okay, I see the rest of the lineup here too. So this is probably going to be Pollard for me. This is very, very close. Jameson is the start of the week. Pollard is the start of the week. But Pollard is the one that, you know, gets the juices flowing for me. Pollard is the one where I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a tough one for him to fail. If Jordan Love plays, though, that does make it more interesting. I'm not going to lie. Man, if Jordan Love plays, that could be an interesting matchup. Right now, I lean Tony Pollard. But if Jordan Love plays and he's going to be full go, no limitations, I think that offense is going to be really good, and we might lean towards Jameson at that point. But right now, I am going to sit here and say Tony Pollard. Aiden, I appreciate the donation here, man. He says, Waddle, Higgins, or JSN in my flex. We are going to go Higgins. Definitely want to start JSN. We are starting him this week in the Flock League. Very excited to see him. The hope for JSN is that Miami can just be competent enough to score the ball to keep it a competitive game. But we are going to go ahead and rock with T. Higgins in that matchup versus Washington. That's just such a juicy one. That's what she said. I appreciate you guys. Super chats do skip the queue. Otherwise, I'm going in order. And the next super chat, this is the last one for now, and then we'll see if there's the regular questions. Downs with AR. What's ARJ? Surely that's Anthony Richardson, right? Or Thielen with Dalton. I would choose Adam Thielen with Dalton if I had to make this decision. Now, Josh Downs could be exactly what the Colts offense is missing. This intermediate, over-the-middle, type of option. But as of right now, I would have to lean Adam Thielen. He is the clear, number 2 on this team right behind Deontay in action and in usage. And he has a lot of chemistry already with Andy Dalton. We saw that last year in week 3 where he had 14 targets or something crazy. Now, don't expect that, but yeah. So, yeah, hopefully that is helpful. All right, guys, those are all the super chats for now. So I am going to go to the top of the queue, at least what I can see. And the top of the queue that I can see is X. Give Keep in mind, if you want to skip the queue, Super Chat is there. No obligation, but it is an option. And be a friend. Smash that like button to show some love. All right. X here. The first non-Super Chat question I can see is full PPR, Akers, Najee, P. Ryan, Brian Thomas, Juwan Jennings. So we would probably be going with Akers and Brian Thomas here. Very close. Juwan Jennings is definitely in play. But Akers, you know, I'm not trading him from Danny in the Flock League, but I do think he's a very good play. I'm not trading for him because I think he's a one week rental. But he is a fantastic spot start option. Do I trade Tank Dell for Rashee Rice? Grab Rashee Rice in a heartbeat in that deal if you can get Rashee Rice. I love it, Slitty. I love it. Should I pick up Adam Thielen? He's a fine option in deeper formats to stash, for sure. Screw, All-American says, full PPR, need wide receiver and flex. Olave, Godwin, Connor. Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, matchup says Connor's a sit, but Connor's going to touch the ball so much. The Detroit Lions are tough. They're a tough defense to run on. We're gonna rock with the wide receivers there. Are we though? Are we really gonna trust Olave? I mean, Olave has an incredible matchup. Yeah, we are. We're gonna go the wide receivers. That's tough. All right, we do have some super chats, so these guys are skipping the queue with these donations. I appreciate you guys. The first one's Alan. Let me read this here. Oh, yeah, this is Akers. Yeah, this is Akers. I will say, though, DeAndre Swift has a cupcake matchup. If DeAndre Swift can't put up a decent fantasy day versus these Colts, I don't know when he ever is good, if that's the case. But we are going to go Cam Akers just on the better offense, so that's the way we're going to lean there. Adam Fox, I appreciate the donation, man. A $10 dono, very kind. He says, I'm the Etienne and Brian Thomas side for J-Mo and Zamir White. My team is Murray, Bijan, Pacheco, Monty, Cup, Rice, Harrison, J-Mo, Zamir White, Kittle. Okay. Yeah, I would be keeping the Etienne side of this then. Yeah, I mean, I would be doing Etienne there. Yeah, that's the question, right? Yeah. Because at wide receiver, you still have Rashee Rice. You still have Marvin Harrison. You'll add Brian Thomas. And then Cooper Kupp will be back at some point. Your running back room will be stronger now. Yeah, I'm totally open to doing this deal. But let me be, like, super clear. I'm open to shopping Etienne. Like, if you can move Etienne for like a Gibbs somehow, and you can do a 2-for-1 to make that happen, great. If you can move Etienne for a Cook, a Jacobs rest of season, those are deals I'm trying to get done after I finish this deal. But yeah, I still think there is more value on the Etienne side of that. Yeah. All right, I appreciate the donations, guys. Super chats do get prioritized. Otherwise, I'm going in order from top to bottom. And the next one that I can see in order from top to bottom that YouTube will let me access, at least, is Bike Walkers. He says, what's up? Need 2 for my 8-team, 2 flex PPR, Etienne, Dobbins, J-Mo, Diggs, Allen. Well, Keenan Allen is not going to play, so we can rule him out. For me, this is Etienne and Jameson Williams. That would be my 2 options. I could totally see Diggs having a game. I hate J.K. Dobbins' matchup. Go watch the video today that I just released. If you are planning on starting J.K. Dobbins, you might have a better option. I know a lot of you will not, but some of you might just have a better option. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right. All right, so that was the first non-super chat I could see. Oh, he also said Stroud or Baker. We're going Stroud there. Tough call. I get the question. Start Richardson or Daniels. We're going to go A-Rich there. It's very close. They're back-to-back in my rankings. George Kittle is not going to play. He's doubtful. I mean, I would be shocked if he's out there, but I guess anything's possible. I just don't currently project him to play in if I were to show you my rankings. What's up, Steck? He says, would you pick up Baker, Carr, or Dak as a backup plan for Mahomes? That would probably be Baker for me. He's playing the best out of any of these names right now. I mean, Dak is a fine option as well, but Baker's balling out. Zamar says, Raiders or Vikings D? I'm scared Carolina might do good then bad with the quarterback switch. That's fair. I definitely understand the question, but you have a Raiders defense who is facing a Carolina Panthers offense that has been really bad, and it could change. Meanwhile, your other option is the Vikings, who are facing a top 5 offense with CJ Stroud at quarterback. It's just, I get the question, but I don't see how you don't go the Raiders here, with what we currently know. All right, Edgar says Pittman or Downs. Go Pittman if he's, if that's the options. Gal says start which of these 3? Hill, DJ Moore, Cooper, Alec Pierce, Jennings. The first 3 for me. Moss or Higgins. I'm going to go T. Higgins. It's very close. You can make an argument Moss is a floor play, though. Marvolo, I think we answered this one in a super chat. Alvaro says Bucky Irving, P. Ryan, or Madison. Lost Pacheco, Walker. So it's a rough one this week. Yeah, that is a really difficult one to answer. I'm not going to lie, dude. I think I'd throw Bucky out there knowing that Rachaad White, is dealing with that groin injury. All right, we did get a super chat from Yezer. I appreciate you, man. He says, start Earl Campbell or Eric Dickerson. What does Eric do? What does Jalen do? Naylor. Yeah, we got to go Eric, right? We got to go Eric here. Absolutely Eric. Imagine, I mean, guys. All right. We're going to just go on a little tangent here. Do you know how intimidating it must have been to see this man and you're on defense trying to stop this bowling ball of a human being? I mean, that's crazy. They don't make running backs like they used to. I mean, this guy was different gravy. Boy was nasty with them goggles too. He just had that swag, didn't he? I mean, look at that. Look at them goggles, son. I kind of miss the Rams' old school look, not gonna lie. I appreciate the super chat, though. That's very kind of you. Yes, sir. We do get another super chat here from Mr. Rivers. I appreciate you, Mr. Rivers. Thanks for the donation, man. You've been very kind on the stream. All right, he says, Mayfield, Sun God, Ayuk, Monty, Kyron, Gesicki, Higgins. Bench is Moss, Kittle, Geno, Braylon, Strange, Akers, pick up Jennings, Thielen, Downs, drop who? Okay, so you're starting. Okay, right. I get you. I don't know that you drop anyone, to be honest. I mean, you really need Brent. You need Strange and Gesicki on your team because you don't know if Gesicki's going to play. In my opinion, you have to keep Akers because there's certainly like a chance that Joe Mixon misses another week. I think he probably plays next week. If I knew Akers was only playing 1 week, I'd probably pick up Adam Thielen. But right now, I just think you're probably best to hold. You could do what Danny's trying to do to me in the Flock League and find someone who needs a start. Maybe find the Joe Mixon owner, try and trade them Akers for like a bunch of fab. But it's like I wouldn't do that trade, but maybe someone in your league might. And then you can have a free spot on the waiver wire. But right now, I think you're best to hold. Yeah, I think you're best to hold right now, Mr. Rivers. I appreciate the donation, though, man. We got another super chat here from Joe. These guys are skipping the queue with these donations. He says, is Devon Vele a good stash? What do you think of him? Yes, I do think he is a good stash. And this is really for deeper leagues. So if you guys are out there and you're watching the stream right now, and let's say you play in like an 8-team or a 10-team league, Devon Vele should not be a name that you're talking about picking up. But anybody who's in like a 12-man with 7 bench spots or like a start 10 or whatever, yeah, we're absolutely going to talk about Devon Vele. I talked about him in the stash video this week. And this is a guy who's a 26-year-old rookie. Really weird story. But he got 8 targets in week 1 as a rookie, then was out with a rib injury. And we've seen Josh Reynolds, right? I mean, we've seen Josh Reynolds do decent. This team is top 5 in passing attempts per game. So if he can overtake Josh Reynolds, there's like a weekly flex potential for a name like that. But yeah, I definitely am interested in him. Sorry guys, just texting my wife. She's going to get lunch for us over here in Sydney, Australia. So we probably have like, I don't know, 30 minutes left on the stream. We'll see. We'll vibe it out. Depends on when lunch gets here. Shane, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the donation. He says, Etienne, Mason for Etienne. I have Gibbs and Mostert. Ooh. Man, getting Etienne is nice. And you have Mostert in case Etienne goes down with an injury. I like that. I guess, Shane, this comes down to your conviction on Jordan Mason. My opinion, and it's just an opinion at this point, but my opinion is that when CMC's back, Jordan Mason is not a startable name, right? So if you're thinking in the future, the way I'm viewing it is in 3 weeks from now, would you rather have Etienne or Etienne? Now, if you need help to win right now, Mason's like one of the best starts in fantasy football. And he's probably going to dominate this week again. But if you're 2-0 and you're just thinking about the future, I think Etienne is a clear winner here. So it's a good question. Tough call. I think I lean the Etienne side if you can afford the depth move. Safe and Sound, thanks for becoming a member. That's very, very kind of you. Very, very kind. Jose Cuervo, Zamir White, Charbonnet, Steele, Swift, Barkley, Robinson. R. Robinson. Who's R. Robinson? Is that Brian? Is that DeMarcus? I don't know. Okay, so basically you need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. You want me to set the lineup. Okay, I get you. All right, we're going to go Saquon Barkley. Is that Brian Robinson? We're going to go Brian Robinson if that's... Ooh, but we got Charbonnet there. 1 second. Yeah, Charbonnet and Brian are back-to-back in my rankings. We will slightly lean Charbonnet there. So we'll actually go Saquon, Charbonnet. And then at wide receiver, we're going to go Ayuk. Is that Justin Jefferson? Holy moly. Ayuk, Justin Jefferson, and Malik Neighbors. So that's our 5. Saquon, Charbonnet, Ayuk, Jefferson, Neighbors. Assuming that is Justin Jefferson. All right, I appreciate you. Hey, Safe and Sound became a YouTube member, and they also donated a super chat. I appreciate you, man. Let's answer this question here. He says, Mahomes, Akers, who's in for Mixon, White, Flowers, St. Brown, Kelsey, Rashid, Shaheed. Play Dowdle for Akers and Dell for Shaheed. So we are going to play Akers over Dowdle personally. That Dallas backfield is kind of gross right now. I'll be honest. Like, it's like this 3-man rotation at the moment. We're even seeing, what's that guy's name? His dad is like the running back coach. He's from Kansas State. Why am I blanking right now? Anyway, there's 3 running backs right now in that rotation. It's a little gross. And we need more clarity before we can start those names. Yeah, Deuce Vaughn. Appreciate you. Throw a shot. Deuce Vaughn. It's just too messy. So I am going to go Akers. You got a guy on a better offense, arguably, than Dallas, who is going to be fed opportunities. Dameon Pierce is out, most likely. Joe Mixon's not going to play, most likely. So we're going to go Akers there. And then Dell for Rashid Shaheed. I'm assuming these are start-sit questions, by the way, when I'm answering this. I'm assuming this is not a trade question. But we are going to start Tank Dell still. That's really close. I will put Dell and Shaheed in the same tier this week. I don't know. I still feel like at some point the wheels are going to fall off for Shaheed, and it's becoming an ongoing meme on my channel. It's becoming an ongoing meme, but we'll find out. So, hopefully that is helpful, right? I appreciate you. Very kind. The next super chat that I can see is from Anthony, and it's their first super chat. I appreciate you. Very kind. Thanks for deciding to support. And Anthony says, Purdy or Carr? Let's start there. I am going to go Brock Purdy, Glock Purdy. I can understand why you might want to lean another direction. But I just feel better about him than Derek Carr imploding at some point. And then flex 2 between Charbonnet, Jason, and Amari Cooper. Ooh. My boy's asking the hard-hitting questions here. He is asking the hard-hitting questions. Wow. It's about as difficult as they get. Okay, let's think this through. Wow. When I'm with you, all I get is wild thoughts. Okay, Charbonnet is clearly the floor play here. I would start Jason over Amari Cooper. So I guess we're going Seattle Seahawks here. I hate the idea of like having so much equity in the Seahawks, but if you want to play it where you go Charbonnet and you play Amari Cooper just to have equity of 2 different offenses, I get that. But Charbonnet is like the floor play. He should touch the ball a lot. I would have Jason ahead of Amari Cooper in my rankings. Rationale behind that is I believe that we'll see Jalen Ramsey covering DK Metcalf on the outside. You know, depending on if he travels or not, I don't know. But Jason's going to operate out of the slot for the majority of his work, and that is just a safer play, in my opinion. And the reality is, if Miami does make it a game, then JSN's a great play. And if they don't, then Charbonnet is probably going to have a good amount of fantasy points. So that's the way I would lean there. That's a really tough one, Anthony. Honestly, that might be the most difficult one we've had so far. I hope that's helpful. All right, Geno versus Carr. It's a good question. We had it earlier. I did say they're literally back-to-back in my rankings. I'm going to lean Derek Carr here. I just think pure like volume-wise, Derek Carr is probably going to have to throw the ball a lot versus the Eagles. So I do think we are going to go Derek Carr there myself. That's a tough one. Okay, we did have a question and a super chat from Fleichenberg, but the question was deleted. I just don't see it. I'm sorry, man. Gil. What's up, Gil? He says, start Daniels or Purdy. I'm going to go Jaden Daniels here. Just the floor that Jaden Daniels has with his rushing ability is very attractive. You know, Geno is not a bad option at all. But, you know, you got Jaden Daniels who had a 28-point game versus Tampa Bay, 14-point game versus the Giants. And Purdy is missing some weapons, so I would slightly lean that direction. All right, we got a super chat from ZD Lou, who says, start Sharp or Kyron? Yeah, look. This is not a silly question to ask. It really isn't. But I think you still have to go Kyren Williams. I do. You have to hope that Kyren just gets a lot of work as a pass-catching running back. That's got to be the hope for him. That's a really tough one. I really, really think that's a tough question. I hear you. But yeah, my rankings are going to tell you Kyren Williams, man. That's tough. Sheesh. That is tough. Whew. Good luck. Godspeed. Fleikenberg. I'm always saying that wrong, probably. I'm sorry. I appreciate the donation, though. He says, start 2, full PPR, London, Jason, Pickens, and Jameson. Wow. For me, Jameson is definitely in play. These guys are in, like, the same tier. You know what? I'll literally show you my rankings. At wide receiver 21, we have Jameson Williams. At wide receiver 22, we have Jackson Smith and Jigba. And at wide receiver 23, we have Drake London. In a better matchup, I probably would go London there. But with his matchup versus Kansas City, that's a little scary. Given your options, I would go JSN, Jameson Williams. Good luck. That's a tough one. Adams, I appreciate you, man. This is your third donation on the stream. That's very kind of you. He says, would you accept where I get Love and Reed over DJ Moore and Shaheed? But I'm not a rapper. Dr. Seuss in this thing. Wow, that is an interesting question, isn't it? Do you need help at quarterback? Who's your current quarterback, Adams? Who's the current quarterback that you're fielding every week? Like, if you've got like a Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, it doesn't really make sense to do that. But yeah, we are going to go ahead and say, if you need a quarterback upgrade, I'm fine with the Love side of this. I do think Jaden Reed, if Jaden Reed had a healthy Jordan Love, is it crazy to say that we would all prefer Jaden Reed? I think we would. I think Jaden Reed, if Love is healthy, is the most valuable player in this deal. I love DJ Moore. This should be a great week for DJ Moore. He should bounce back in a huge way. But if you need a slight quarterback upgrade, I'm fine with the Adams side of that deal. That's close. Carlos, I appreciate the donation, man. He says, any upside for Cam Akers? I have Monty on my flex, but with mixing out, I'm wondering if it's worth flexing Akers. Like, look, Akers should get a ton of volume. He's on a good offense. I would still be comfortable playing Montgomery just because we have seen him play really good football. But I definitely get the question. And if you have this like gut feeling where you're like, you know what, I just really think Akers is going to get all the work and this is a good offense. And I get if you want to lean that way. But my rankings, just based off of what we know right now and how much success Montgomery's already had, I would definitely lean. I would lean the direction of David Montgomery. Yeah, if your quarterback's Purdy, I think with the injuries he has right now, I'm fine to go get Jordan Love then. I like that deal for you, Adams. Like I said, keep in mind, if Jordan Love doesn't play this week, Adams, this is what you have to know, okay? You have got to know that if Jordan Love doesn't play this week, Jaden Reed is going to be awful. He's probably going to be a terrible play. He's not a startable name. But if Jordan Love does play this week, Jaden Reed's probably going to be a good player. So, and DJ Moore has a great matchup. So if you can leave this trade on the offer until you find out if Jordan Love plays or not, that's what I would do. So yeah. Carlos, but yes, I would be going with Montgomery there, but I get it if you want to trust your gut. All right, Paul, you are the next super chat here. He says, if Sharps is a starter, start him over Swift and McBride at tight end. If not, start Swift and flex Ferguson, 2 tight ends. Okay, so we are playing Zach Charbonnet over DeAndre Swift, but McBride has got to be in your lineup. I'm not sure I understand the question, actually. Why do you have to choose Swift and Ferguson or Sharp and McBride? Why can't you play Sharp and McBride? Or do you have to start 2 tight ends? Okay. If you have to start 2 tight ends, definitely just do Charbonnet, McBride, and Ferguson. Let me just list these guys in order of how much I want to start them. Charbonnet first because of the volume. I would put McBride at tight end. Then I would have Ferguson, and then I would have Swift as the last name of those four. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, just one tight end. Then we'll start Charbonnet over Swift, and we'll start McBride over Ferguson, if that's the question. I appreciate you, Paul. That is very kind. You guys have been so kind with the donation so far today. We're going to go live for not too much longer, I'll be honest. My voice is just really going, guys. I'll be live for the next, 4 minutes, okay? 15 minutes past the hour. So that's 7. I'll give you 7 more minutes. Super chats will get answered straight away. Otherwise, I'm going in order. And the next question I can see is from a lot of people thinking Mr. Rivers, by the way. He's been very kind on today's stream. The next question I can see is from Jason, who says, Jason or Worthy? I'm going JSN. Andrews are likely. I'm going Andrews. It's very close. Thielen or Leggett? If you're starting them this week, probably Thielen, but Leggett is the better stash in my opinion. Gosh, I hope not Styles. That would be really depressing. Fernando says, Mexican remedy for your throat, tablespoons of honey with lemon mixed in. I actually love that. Yeah, we do like a raw ginger honey lemon mix, so I'm with you. Claudia says, Debo is currently hurt on my team. For my flex, should I start DeMarcus Robinson, Chuba, or Brian Thomas? This would be Brian Thomas for me, but it's very close. Claudio, I think we answered that. Yep. Gabriel says, would you flex Pollard for Tyreek? We actually answered that one already. I hear you, Mr. Rivers. Claudio says, would you trade Etienne and Moore for Tyreek and Taylor? Give me Tyreek and Taylor. Should I drop McLaurin for Shakir? That's not a crazy question. I think I'm still holding on Terry and hoping that they figure it out. But that is not a crazy question. Philip says, Drake or Shaheed at wide receiver 2. I lean Drake, but it's very close. It's a tough matchup for Drizzy. Flex Brian Robinson or JSN. I'm going to go JSN there. It's very close, though. If you're in a half PPR, you might lean Brian. Rest of season, Jamar, Godwin, Malik, Garrett. For me, this would still be Jamar. Then between Godwin and Malik, honestly, I think it would be back-to-back. Okay, here's what I'll say. Jamar is still the clear number 1. And then I would put Godwin, Malik, and Garrett in the same tier. I really would. I don't know how you have conviction over one of those names over the other right now. I mean, if Godwin does it again this week, guys, if Godwin does it again this week, how do you not rank him as a top 10 receiver moving forward? Crazy. All right, we only got 5 minutes left on the stream. It is a Saturday here. I am going to go hang out with the wifey. But 5 minutes left to get your questions in. Super chats will skip the queue. There's a couple super chats here. Emmanuel says Lamar, Cook, Sharps, Rice, Chase, Nico, Devontae, Dak. Benches, Fields, Braylon, Bucky, Waddle, Mark, Andrews, McBride. Trade suggestions. Who are you starting at tight end then? Wait, are you not starting a tight end? Are you not starting a tight end? Wait, what? I started all my wide receivers. So are you in a league where you don't have to start tight end? Is that what you're saying? You're in a league where tight end is a flex. It's not a you have to start him name. Let me know. Well, look, you can't sit Devontae Adams, you can't sit Nico Collins or Jamar Chase or Rashee Rice. So if the question is between those wide receivers and a tight end, then you got to start those names. But at tight end, who are you starting at tight end then? I'm confused. Is there a tight end spot or not? What does your lineup include? Is it 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 flex spots? Because who would you be starting at tight end in that case? Or is there you don't have to start a tight end? Let me know. While you're clarifying that, I'll go to Hayes' question here. I appreciate the donation. He says, why is Jameson all we talk about? Shaheed is still in the corner when target share is nearly identical. One's on an offense that I trust, that we've seen more than a year of evidence that it's a good offense. One is top 5 in targets amongst the NFL. The other is relying on, 4 targets a game? 4.5 targets per game. One is connected to Jared Goff. One's connected to Derek Carr. That's really the reason why. For me, at least. But I hear it. Like, look, if Shaheed keeps doing his thing, then, I guess we'll have to adjust expectations. Yeah, 4.5 targets per game. I don't know what to do with that. You don't have to start a tight end. Okay. Well, then it's a bit unfortunate that we have 2 tight ends when nobody wants tight ends. That's unfortunate, Emmanuel. To be honest, though, like in a league where you don't have to start tight end, why do we stack up on the tight ends? That's what I don't understand. Because now you're in a position, Emmanuel, where you have no incentive for people to buy the players that you have because nobody trusts tight ends anyway. Yeah, what would I do with this team? I mean, your team is very good. If I could turn like Mark Andrews and Braylon Allen into a startable running back, that's a really good idea. If I can turn McBride into like a Henry, Jacobs, that would be ideal. If you can turn Mark Andrews and Braylon into like a Ramondre, Kyron, Pollard, that's another idea that you could pull off. But you're in a tough spot, I'll be honest, just because nobody in your league probably wants to buy tight ends, and that's really what you have in excess of. But your team is good. I wouldn't be too worried. That's a very good team. QJ with the donation here. I appreciate you, man. He says, take a chance with Steele over Dobbins. That's a little too risky for me. I don't like J.K. Dobbins' matchup at all whatsoever, but I would still have to start him in that offense over Carson Steele. We just don't know what Carson Steele's role is just yet. We are projecting, but we don't know exactly what it is just yet. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a little tough. Yeah, I get you, Hey. My concern is there is like years of evidence that Derek Carr, when he's put in a position where he has to throw, is not very accurate, is not very reliable. So, I mean, I get your opinion. I just have a different one, and that's totally okay. I'd be looking to sell Shaheed right now, guys. If I can get an Amari Cooper for Shaheed, I'll take it. If I can get a JSN for Shaheed, I'd take it. A Jameson Williams, a DJ Moore, a Drake London, a T. Higgins. Yeah, like I said, when they throw the ball more, hey, what is the evidence for Derek Carr? When he has to throw the ball, has it been good? In my opinion, historically, there's a lot of evidence that he's not been good in high-pressure situations. So we have years of evidence that he's not good under pressure. He's not good when he needs to throw the ball at a high volume. I mean, sure, he was back in like the days with Amari Cooper on the squad. He did great for Devontae Adams in that first year, but that's Devontae Adams. We're talking about Rashid Shaheed. And one thing I don't think we're thinking about enough with this whole Shaheed situation is, okay, wow, Rashid Shaheed back-to-back weeks with an over 50-yard touchdown. Should we as a defense adjust at all? You see what I'm trying to say? That is now in the game plan. All right, guys, let's think about the Saints. Number one, we do not get beat over the top by Rashid Shaheed. I mean, it's just an adjustment period. Happy to be wrong. But I'm still not buying Rashid Shaheed. Rob, I appreciate the donation, man. This is the last question on the stream, guys. Unless there's any other super chats, just because I need to go hang out with my family. Rob says full PPR Akers, Ford, or McLaurin. We're gonna Cam Akers there. He's just gonna get a ton of volume in a very good offense this week. haven't been able to start Terry. Ford didn't lead his backfield in opportunities last week, so we are going to go Cam Akers. I appreciate you, Rob. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate you, Hey. The great part about fantasy football is, hey, we all have different opinions. If you believe Rashid Shaheed is the truth, if you think this is a projection of the entire year, go buy him. Go buy him high, But I appreciate all of you, Paul, Carlos, Adams, everyone who donated today. Again, another big shout out to Mr. Rivers, who just so many donations today. Very kind. Okay, one more question from Eric, and then we're ending the stream here. This is a super chat. He says, should have I started Judy or Brian Thomas from the Jags? For me, I would personally lean Brian Thomas. I just think there's like a high upside play there from him. But Judy has been the more consistent player. He's getting the more consistent targets. So I can see why you might want to lean that direction. But for me, it will be Brian Thomas. But Justin, I don't know. Ask Mason. Go on his channel and ask him. But no, it's funny. I mean, he's 2-0. I mean, I love Mason, but I don't think his team's very good. But I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here with us. Good luck this week. We'll be live tomorrow as well if you need more help. And I'll see you then. All love. I appreciate